Okay, rightfully so. Some of you are curious about my poison ivy story. So for the men and the women who just want the cliff notes, mainly men, I was in the woods. They looked soft. I used them. I didn't think twice. A few days later, really itchy, called the doc, confirmed poison ivy. And I got treated. I didn't run the marathon. If you like the details and you're like, but how, but why, then you got to stay tuned. Okay, so this was 13 years ago, and 13 years ago, I was just getting back from the military, from a deployment where I had called off a wedding. And I'd called off a wedding. I had graduated from college right before deployment, so I didn't really have this set career path. I moved back in with my parents, so you could say it was a pretty low time in my life where things were a little confusing. That has nothing to do with me being confused about a poison ivy leaf. Here's the deal with the poison ivy leaf. Just because I was in the military, we don't take botany classes. Like, how many of you are good at plant identification? And ever since I never even heard of leaves of three, let it be, okay? I've never run into poison ivy in my life. And the other thing is have you looked at plants in the woods? There's a lot of leaves of three. Okay, if anything, I was a victim of marketing because Charmin and Soft and toilet paper, you see that bear just rubbing his back in the woods, you get this idea. And so I'm jumping the gun, but it literally looked like the softest option. And I literally said, that looks soft and I'm going to use it. Okay, but that's fast forward. So why was I even in the woods? Where does the marathon come into it? I knew coming out of the military that I needed structure. I needed something to focus on. Calling off a wedding, like I needed something. So I chose to train for a marathon because it would help me keep accountable to something. So that I could like be spiritually and physically healthy and all that. Okay. So I trained up all marathon. I was running like 8-minute miles. I was like doing really, really good. And then the week before the marathon came, so you like tame it down. So I was like, okay, instead of a run, I'm just going to go to a local state park. I'm going to bring my Bible and my journal. I'm going to be really spiritual and I'm going to read. Well, and journal. And so I was out there and the spirit was moving, folks, inside and outside. So I knew I had to go to the bathroom. So this is before the bathrooms were open. Nobody's around, so I went in the woods. Does a bear poop in the woods? Yes. Does Anna poop in the woods? Absolutely. This is a confession that I didn't think I would share, but I need you to know this about me. One time I pooped in a river. And I cannot tell you how important it is to not drink water from a river, but also how kind of freeing it was. It just felt like I was born for this. So yes, I will poop outside if I have to. Should have said trigger warning for about this. I had to go to the bathroom, like I said. I literally go, this one looks soft. And it also didn't look like my fingers would break underneath it, and then I would have poop particles under my fingernails. It looked soft, it looked strong, it looked durable. It looked like a very wise choice. So I chose it, and I didn't just wipe with one. I didn't just wipe with two. I just didn't wipe. It's probably 3 wipes. Making sure it's good. I felt good about the job. Fast forward a day. I think I first remember itching coming at nighttime. It's like, oh, it kind of itches. But this is divine intervention. So the night before I go on this field trip, because at this time I'm subbing in the school district. Again, trying to figure out my life. But the night before that, I was working with teens at the time as well with church, and I was a youth group leader. And I was going bowling with these kids. And I was sitting in my car and bowling, and I started to really feel itchy bowling. I was like, ugh. Then I can distinctly remember being in my car, bringing these teens home. And I'm like literally like just really uncomfortably like trying to itch as I'm driving and trying to talk and pursue the next generation as a mature, wise discerning adult. And so I dropped them off. So then the next day, I was like, man, this is itchy. I literally remember before our walk. So this is divine intervention. We are at Mosquito Hill. We are at a nature center. And in the bathroom, I literally remember just like going up and down, like on the bathroom stall, like trying to itch. It was crazy. And then we're on a walk and they're like, oh, be careful. There could be poison ivy. And I was like, oh, that's a thing around here? We have poison ivy in our parts? Like, I know we do, but, I didn't know. And all of a sudden, I just say, I was like, is there a lot of poison ivy around? She's like, oh, yeah, a lot. And granted, this wasn't where I was hiking. I was like, oh. So I had a smartphone at the time, so I, like, quick Googled poison ivy. I was like, that's what I wiped with. And I knew it. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, I have to call the doctor. So I think I get home after school day or whenever. I call the doctor and I was like, excuse me. I need to schedule an appointment. Okay, so mind you, I have a marathon to run in like 5 or 6 days, like really soon. So I'm like, okay, I got to call the doctor, get in, get a shot. Hold on, my honey's trying to talk to me. So I called the doctor, I'm on the phone with, and I was like, excuse me, I need to get in for an appointment. I think I wiped with poison ivy. And there's a silence, and it was like, what? I was like, I think I wiped my butt with poison ivy. And again, they're like, what? And I swear, they're like, get over here. Come, listen. And they're like, all right, can you please repeat that? And it might have been the third, maybe the fourth. It was at least 3 times. I finally go, I wiped my butt with poison ivy! Like, freak out. Because I'm on the emotional verge of a breakdown. Like, I've been trained for this marathon. I'm like, I'm itchy. I'm like, and they're like, oh my. They're like, are you sure it's not an STD? And I was like, lady, this area has been abandoned. Abandoned's not the right word. I'm a woman of God, lady. No, this is not an STD case. And she, like, but you could tell, she's like, I heard that before. It's like, how many people would want to admit, like, casual sex, whatever, but being an adult and choosing poison ivy to wipe your butt with, you're admitting to a lot of things here. Ignorance, foolishness, and a precarious situation that they are like, how did this happen? Much like what leads you to watch this movie. So anyways, we get the appointment scheduled. I go in. I had a female doc, thank God. Just laying there at the table. I was like, what do you think, doc? You think I can run a marathon on Saturday? And she goes, maybe. It's a lot of head rolling, not indecisive head rolling. And so they give me hydrogen cortisone cream to dry it all up down there. Bad, spreading bad. You don't want that stuff inside you. And, or no, steroid pills. I had to take steroid pills. Okay. And, so fast forward a few days, it's the weekend. Here's the deal. The marathon got canceled because this was a heat wave summer. Like, I don't know if you remember, but this 13 years ago, the Green Bay Marathon, like, they had to, like, call it off halfway during it or something like that. They wouldn't let people finish. And so I had to decide, like, I could get my monies back. I could run the half marathon. I was like, by this time, I wasn't running anything. So that weekend, I couldn't even walk. This was me. This is me. I don't know if you can see me, but this is me walking. Couldn't even walk. As you could see, I was in a wheelchair. They were pushing me around. I was in a wheelchair because my dad has wheelchairs because the kids ride wheelchairs down the hill, okay? That's why I was in a wheelchair. They didn't prescribe me a wheelchair. Oh, good job. And then I would go in the lake and I would unwrap the towel and I would just sit in it. We had a neighbor, Grandma Dar. She definitely took care of the love tunnel. She helped me. She helped me with things down there. Grandma Dar has seen a lot of the Tennyson ladies' love tunnels. And yeah, basically I nursed the love tunnel back to health. Clearly she's good because I had 5 babies come through there. No residual side effects. But that weekend, you know, I wanted to be involved still. So I went to a party. It was a Brayton party. And so my sister Maggie married Rob's brother. So I went there to just hang out with the Braytons. Because if there's any family I could go to wrapped in a towel covering up my poison ivy love tunnel, it would be them. And yeah, Michael was there. And now you get to hear Michael's story. Michael, I have a question. You're on video.
Okay.
Do you remember that time I wiped my butt with poison ivy?
Yes.
Do you remember the party?
Yes. Joe the Converses.
What do you remember of that?
I think you were just wearing a towel around your waist.
Okay. Were you like, oh man?
No, I was like...
I want to make babies with her someday.
No. I think I was platonic at that time. So.
You had no feelings towards me at that time? There was nothing about me that was attractive?
No. The towel was not very attractive.
You were just wondering if the bikini was under.
No.
Anything else?
No, like we were all playing kickball and I know you couldn't play. So.
Well, okay, do you remember thinking like that's really weird that she...
Yes, and I made fun of you a lot at the time. So.
Were you like, that's disgusting?
No, I didn't have a lot of feelings about it.
I was just a family friend who wiped her butt with poison ivy in a towel at a public party.
Yes. Well, I mean, you've known us for a while.
Yeah, I think I went with Maggie and Rob.
Yeah.
I had to air that out more. Bottom line, no, I did not run the marathon. I could not even walk. I could not even crawl. I survived that weekend. And I've never run since. That's my story. And I am sticking to it.